Let's talk about the Excel node. The Excel node is located in the Sources palette. The Excel node allows you to import data from any version of Microsoft Excel. This node can import all or just some of the fields that are coming from Excel. So let's go through an example of how to bring in data from Excel. In order to read data from Excel, I'm going to have to go down to the Sources palette, and I'm going to have to bring the Excel source node onto the canvas. I'll bring that node onto the canvas, and now I want to edit that node so I can link it up to a data set. So I'm editing the Excel source node. The first thing that I need to do is I need to specify the type of field that I want to bring in, the type of file that I want to bring in. So it could either be an Excel 2007 to 2003 file, or it could be Excel 2007-2010. I'm going to choose the second option, Excel 2007-2010, because that's the type of file that I have. Now I have to specify the name and the location of my data file. So in order to do this, I'm going to click on the triple dots next to the Import File box. I have to navigate over to where my file is located, and once I find it, I can just select it and then just click on Open to bring in that data. At this point, I have now linked my data set to the source node. Now I just have to bring in the data. Before I do that, I'm just going to talk about a couple of defaults that have been selected here. You can only bring in one worksheet at a time, and the worksheet that I'm going to bring in is going to be specified by an index number. In this case, what that means is I'm going to select worksheet 0, which is the first worksheet. If I wanted to bring in the second worksheet, I would specify an index value of 1. If I wanted to bring in a third worksheet, I would specify an index value of 2, and so on. The other thing that I could have done is I could have brought in a worksheet based on the name of the worksheet, in which case I click on Based on Name, I click on the triple dots, and I find the name of the worksheet that I want to bring in. A couple of other things to mention here. The range of the worksheet. The range is going to start on the first non-blank row. If I wanted to, I could have specified that I only wanted to bring in a range of cells, in which case I'd click on Explicit Range of Cells. I then might say I want to bring in everything from A1 to maybe Z100, and then I would only bring in that data. Notice that the first row has the column names, and that has been selected. And if any blank rows are encountered, what's going to happen is that I'm going to stop reading the data, basically telling Modeler that, hey, that's the last bit of the data that's coming in. I could also return the blank rows, and that would be another option. I'm just going to click OK. And now I want to take a look at my data, make sure I brought it in correctly. So I'm going to go down to the Output palette. I'm going to connect my source node over to a table, and I'm going to run my stream, again, just as a quick check of the data. It looks like I've brought in my data correctly. You can see that I have a total of 13 fields. I have more than 3,000 records. As I quickly glance through my data, everything seems okay. I'll close out of this window. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit the Excel source node one more time. I just want to specify the last bit of options that I didn't touch on. So notice that I could also bring in a named range. So if I've created a named range within Excel, I can choose that option, then click on the triple dots and specify what named range I actually want to bring in. So I'm just going to click OK. And those are the basic options in terms of how you can bring in data from Excel into Modeler.